Hi. Okay, so I'm doing a few short responses to James' most recent video. I'm going to do them in short segments, like one subject at a time, is hopefully my plan. So this is the first, and it's a very short series. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on is James bringing forth new guidelines as to how his ministry is going to be run. And one of the things that he said was that he would not take, they're not going to take criticism and reviews from someone they don't know and trust, and if they're from Zimbabwe and all the stuff that he said about that they were not going to accept that. Totally his choice. I mean, it's your channel and all that, but it's not biblical. I can't find anywhere in the Bible where a Christian accepting rebuke should be limited to someone they know and trust. That's not, you can't find that anywhere in the Bible. And certainly from our side, we are not instructed that we are only to rebuke and expose and exhort those we love and trust and know and trust. So that's not biblical. That's your opinion based mainly on emotions. I think because you don't want to be answerable to anyone else but your inner circle, which is fine. I mean, that's your opinion. But it certainly does not represent your statement of faith on your website, because you talk on your website about being one body and one in Messiah, and all that, and it shouldn't matter in the body of Christ whether we live 1,000 miles apart, 10 miles apart, across the ocean. Someone lives in city life or someone lives rural life, miles and miles apart. The church, the body of Christ, is a spiritual, worldwide entity that has spanned thousands of years, and we are called to rebuke any wrongdoing. This is a biblical instruction. So I just wanted to say your choice, but I don't see that as a biblical one at all. And I'm quite interested that, and you can make new decisions in your ministry all you want, but of course, Lee instructed, rebuked people she didn't know all the time, myself included, many times, and many times without addressing me directly, but addressing other women. So, I mean, if this is the stand that you're going to take, it doesn't change our perspective, but if that is definitely the stand that you're going to take, I hope we don't see any philia rebuking of any church, entity, or anything that you don't know well on a personal level then. That would include talking about come out of her, my people, and come out of this church or that church, or what's going on with this ministry or that ministry, because if that, you got to be consistent, okay? And if that is really the stand that you're going to take, which is not a biblical one, that this is all about only if I know you and trust you, then I would expect that Philia's calling out of other ministries, churches, speaking about the evilness of, this and that, and that would cease because you don't know them personally. But I've never found Philia to be all that consistent, so, tally-ho. Anyway, that's, and 1 Timothy, I mean, Paul instructed Timothy to stay behind at Ephesus while he went on to Macedonia, and told Timothy to stay behind and instruct the people to not, teach false doctrine any longer. And I don't, the Bible doesn't tell us how well Timothy knew those people or how well those people knew Timothy. Is not really a factor, because truth is truth, and it needs to be defended, and souls are at stake. So therefore, whether it's someone you know or trust, you should be able to take the criticism and take it to the Bible, regardless as to whether you know me or know anyone else in our group. That's regardless of the point. And you say you're not going to take any instruction or a criticism from someone you don't know and trust. What happened to the things that Lee has said a few times in the past, that she's instructing women she doesn't know directly? She doesn't know my life. She didn't know the other women well, but it was instructing on them on things, and they were strangers, and she was telling these women, these things that I'm telling you, before we hash it out again, take it to the Father. Take it to the Father, and press into the Father, and all the things that Lee was saying. So why is it that you can't do that? Why is it that now you're saying you're not going to accept any rebuke and criticism from people you don't know and trust, and you're not going to take our concerns to the Father? It was okay for Lee to tell all these women, and really she didn't do it in a very kind way, that, it upset her that she would give a teaching in these closed groups, and then women will want to talk about it and, give their 2 cents and dig into the Bible and all that stuff, when she says, I don't want to hash it out too much, and you guys just need to, before you respond, take it to the Father. Okay? So that was okay for her, but now with you and Lee, if someone has a concern, you're just not going to take it to the Father. You're not going to hear it, simply because you don't know me on a personal level, or you don't know any of the other women that are trying to warn you and correct you as lovingly as we can. You're not going to take that to the Father. You're just absolutely not going to hear it. Again, your choice, but totally not biblical, and I find it actually rather hypocritical. So yeah, that was my first response. I'll have other responses coming, but I did want to touch on that, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.